Welcome back, ATO family. This is Message from the Host number 9. And we're here to talk about the annual Kevin James Clayshoot on April 7th at Elm Fork Shooting Sports. The event was created to honor Dallas police officer Kevin James, who was murdered on November 25th, 2001. Today we have a SWAT lieutenant, Kevin Campbell. I've known him my entire career. He's going to talk about the history of this event. Lieutenant, thanks for being on with us.
Well, thanks for having us, Joe, or having me to talk about the Kevin James Clayshoot.
We have Randy Aguilar and also Sergeant Kent Wolverton here.
Thank you for the official title. I appreciate it.
The sergeant. You might be a lieutenant by the next time we do another message.
No.
Oh, no? Okay. LT, can you talk about your involvement in this clay shoot, when it started, and also just how it's evolved and just the meaning behind it?
So we've been doing this clay shoot since 2017, and the only year we missed was 2020 due to COVID. The idea came about because I thought a clay shoot would be fun as a get-together for officers, and it just so happened that when I was talking to some people about that, Kevin Jancey, who was Kevin James' partner, was wanting to do something in his name, in his memory. So we got down, we just sat down and started talking about it, and we really, by our shoestrings, threw together the first year just to see how it would go. We had good support. It averages making about $20,000 for the ATO every time we do it. It's not a huge fundraiser monetarily, but the feedback that we got, because we made it a very family-friendly environment, and we decided to do it on Good Friday every year so that kids were out of school, you could bring your family. We had great support from the Beretta Gallery, which brought out shotguns that they could loan out to people. Elm Fork has been really good to us. We didn't have it there the first year, but ever since then, Elm Fork's been great because they provide golf carts. We agreed from the beginning that we would keep the price low. If anybody's into clay shooting, they know that $600 for a team is almost unheard of. Most other teams are $1,000 and up, and we include your ammo, golf cart, you get a bag full of swag, and you get 100 targets.
Can you talk about the significance of having it over there in Channel 5?
So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to go over to Elm Fork, was because it's very close. Well, Channel 5 is where Kevin James was a patrol officer, and he was well loved over there. I was working Channel 3. I did not know Kevin James personally, but I do remember the night that happened. It was a citywide assist, and Steve Bishop and I, we went lights and sirens from South Dallas all the way over there to help out in any way that we could. And I mean, I did know some of the people that were, that worked Channel 5, Lance Crawford and, the legends.
Yeah.
So it was important to me that we had it, because there's been a lot of venues that have called us and wanted us to do it there, but they were either not in Dallas or they weren't centrally located. And then on top of that, just the fact that we could have it down there on Channel 5 where Kevin worked and was so loved, I thought it was important to keep it close.
Yeah, we've had on Detective Jancey, and also as well as Lance Crawford, who was actually there that night, and we've got just different perspectives, and everybody talks about KJ. The event itself, it is family friendly, and it's just a great feel. I mean, I go to a lot of these ATO events, but this one has like a different feel for participation, just everybody having a really good time. We have a lot of raffle items. Last year, Stahlback Capital, Jeff Stahlback and Roger Stahlback, you may have heard of them here in town. They donated autograph Roger football, and actually I won it and walked away with it. But this year we're going to have having an autographed
Hail Mary, picture.
a big picture. It's a good size. It's autographed by Roger and also Drew Pearson, and I'm going to be putting in money for that one too. So, but yeah, all the raffle items, they're donated from organizations and just people that want to help out the ATO. If anybody has anything they want to donate for us to raffle, please bring it up here to the Dallas Police Association, and we'll take it and put it in put it in the mix to make some money for the ATO.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this year we have a really cool separate raffle. So we always do what we call a 3-gun raffle, which people really like because you get your choice of 3 guns. But those have to be done. That has to be somebody who is here in Texas because of, you got to go pick up the gun and do the check and all that. So I just happened to meet a guy because I work the Dallas Safari Club show every year here in Dallas. And he runs a company called Captain Peacock, which for anybody who's a bass fisherman, peacock bass is like one of the ultimate trophy fish. And he has donated a 8-night, 5-day trip aboard his big houseboat in Brazil. For 2 people, airfare is not included, but as long as you can get yourself down there, everything else for those 5 days is included. It's 5 days of fishing. It would be an awesome trip to go to Brazil. You're on the Amazon while you're fishing, and it's like 5-star resort. It's not just like a janky houseboat. If you go on Captain Peacock's website, you can see the boat. It's like 5-star treatment, and he is just so behind us. That he's like, we were trying to figure out the best way to give away this trip. And he's like, I don't care how you give it away, but I want you guys to have it. It's a gift from me to you. These trips go for 2 people to go down there and do that. You would pay him around $10,000.
Okay. Can you tell the listener where they can, you have the flyer in front of you, and I'm going to be posting it later today on the social medias that we do. Yeah. I've already posted it, but the next month, the listeners that follow us on social media are probably going to get tired of seeing it, but it's the Amazonia fishing trip.
Right, and you can go to kevinjamesclayshoot.com, www.kevinjamesclayshoot.com, and you can buy your tickets online. So anybody in the United States, you do not have to be present to win the prize. We will draw it at the day, and we will contact you if you're the winner. And if you want to check out, who does the Captain Peacock, his website is www.captpeacock.com.
Now that's an all-inclusive deal too, so you don't even have to bring sandwich meat to eat every day. They're taking care of everything.
It's like 5-star meals. They put you out on the beach and they cook you lunch in the middle of your day where you fish all day. It's a fantastic trip. Something I would love to do. It's definitely on my bucket list.
And these peacock bass, they have like peacock feathers that flare up.
No, they have
I'm mistaken.
You just got to let them fly.
They fly away.
They're very brightly colored.
Okay,
and they get really, really big.
Okay.
So people, it's just one of those trophy fish for people.
And it's $25 each for the ticket, or you can get 5 for $100.
Yes.
Okay. And the drawing is going to be, again, the event is on April 7th, 2023. You do not have to be present to win this trip.
Is there a cap to the number of tickets you're going to sell for that?
Nope.
Nice.
We are selling them until people quit buying them, but. It's a great opportunity. I mean, you can throw $100 and get your hat in the ring for five chances to win a $10,000 trip for $100.
No, you also don't have to be a professional fisher, right? You can just
they do everything for you.
Totally amateur, sit out there and walk away with some beautiful, tasty peacock.
Well, I don't.
And they pluck the feathers out, I believe, before they grill it.
For sure.
Okay.
Unless you have to bring
your own rod and reel, Joe?
I keep thinking you have that has feather. Never mind. I'm sorry.
No,
you have a cane pole, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just gonna have a string and a
Captain
hook.
Peacock will hook you up, whatever you need. I think.
Yeah, they have it all. You'll be in your own boat with your own guide, and they have all they rig everything for you. You don't have to do anything but catch the fish.
Stand there and hold it.
Yep.
They hand it to you.
Yep,
you
stand
there.
Hand it to you, and they do the rest.
So you've pretty much run this since the beginning.
Well, I'm not going to say that I run it. Mm-hmm. So Kevin and I came up with the idea, and it has taken a huge team of people. We've had Carolyn Ivy is been a great part of it. My wife Katie has been involved with it since the beginning. Vicky White here at the DPA is just a godsend when it comes to this. Everybody has done a fantastic job.
Randy is
fantastic. He makes sure all the stuff is there on time.
I'm going to take all that out, by the way, when I edit this.
It's fun.
The cook team volunteers. So, I mean, the other thing I didn't mention is when you show up, Central Market has, for the past couple of years, they provide an awesome breakfast and coffee. So you can have that when you arrive. And then the cook team does a fantastic lunch every year. So we feed you really well. We everything's included. All you got to bring is your shotgun.
Randy, some of the sponsors that have helped us historically through this, can we give them a shout out? Do you know any of that?
Oh, yeah, and you would put me on the spot right there.
Yeah.
Amazing Grace was one of the first ones. She's a big sponsor. I know Roll Call.
Yeah, Roll Call is our
they're
sponsor.
coming back. Bob Gorski, the Dallas Police Association Police Officers PAC, is a sponsor. I mean, there's numerous of it.
Maureen Dickey's Barbecue, they helped us out, and then she actually won one of the.
She did.
The year before, she won one of the AR 15 raffles. So it was and then the same thing, she won like a $900 pair of hunting binoculars. Mm-hmm. So she is probably out right now somewhere using both.
Probably.
Shout out, Maureen.
Shooting cows.
Yep. So the event, what time does the event usually start and kind of wrap up?
So registration usually opens up at 9 a.m. And then it usually wraps up. Everybody's out of there by 1 or 2 o'clock at the very latest.
That's what's been really good about this event. We'll get there at 6 and start getting everything set up, but by 1, 2 o'clock, I'm probably back here at the building unloading the trailer and ready to go. It's a quick event, and I think one year it was a little bit cold.
Oh,
there's no telling what the weather's going to be doing this
Right.
time of year, but it's, like I said, we've been very fortunate.
How many shooters do we usually have, like teams?
Well, it's 150 shooters, and my math is horrible, but whatever that is, each team is four people shooting. But we limited it. So the other thing that we did is there for a couple of years, we thought, okay, we're going to take this big time. But in order to do that, like Randy said, we would have to stress our volunteers out because we'd have to run 2 relays and 2 meals and things like that. I find that it's a little bit more intimate, and you get time to really talk to people and fellowship, for lack of a better term. And we're in and out of there in half a day, and it is Good Friday, so people are they're usually getting ready for Easter weekend. The kids are out of school. So it gives you something to do on Friday morning, and then you got the rest of the day to yourself. And so I think we've decided that 150, some years we've been up to 175, but when you go past that number of shooters, you've got to bring on it becomes a whole nother level.
It's a lot to juggle.
It is. It becomes a whole different ball of wax.
Now, how do you get volunteers? If anybody wants to volunteer, how do they go about doing that?
Call Vicki White at the DPA, and we'll put you on a list if you want to volunteer. Or, quite frankly, I don't even need you to call. If you want to show up at 7 a.m. at the Elm Fork, you'll find us, and we can find you something to do.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the volunteers because, it takes a lot. And I never really knew how much it took to get any event that ATO puts on, one of these charity events. It's a lot of behind the scenes and strings that need to be pulled and crap nobody sees, the setup, the cleanup, and everything planned. And of course nothing goes always according to plan, so you have to improvise on the fly. But I know that there's several listeners out there that have reached out to me that want to start helping our events. Especially, it seems kind of odd that a lot of ladies have reached out wanting to volunteer for the next Bags for Badges for some reason. But we'll take anybody that wants to come out and help. You can contact Vicki or Randy at the Dallas Police Association, or you can email me at atobridgen@gmail.com, and we'll find a place for you because we're not going to turn you away. We need help.
No.
Well, let me circle back this too. So far, our sponsors this year, and some of these guys have been around for quite a while, but Walker Engineering has been a sponsor. Joe mentioned the Dickey Foundation, Doubletree by Hilton. They've been really
Every
big,
year.
with food support and in-kind donations. Amazing Grace Life, TMPA, that's Texas Municipal Peace Officers Association, Central Market, and NDBT. I'm not quite sure what that is. I apologize, but Vicki was real quick getting this to me. And we are still taking sponsors, so we are never going to turn down money. We are a fundraising organization, so don't hesitate to reach out.
Now, no pressure here, Randy, but I heard that you were going to be shirtless at the Clayshoot for all the women that are coming out this time. So
That's Joe.
if we're looking for more female volunteers at the Clayshoot, Randy Aguilar will be shirtless and oiled up.
No, I'm shirtless now. He's going to be shirtless at the Clayshoot. So, yeah. And Kent's pantless. So,
Constantly.
Listener can't see
Who
that.
wants to wear pants?
Yeah. It is getting a little warmer out.
So talking about the sponsorships that are available, we
Back on task.
Yeah,
Good job, Lieutenant.
I'm going to get you off the no pants and let's.
I got sidetracked. It was first. It was
peacocks?
It was peacock bass, and then now it's the attire. Okay.
Not a shock joke.
Yep.
But if you go to Kevin James, the KevinJamesClayshoot.com, there are several sponsorship levels, and you'll see with every level you get a little something different. So it just depends on how much money you want to put in, or if you have a raffle item like Joe said, those do really well. We do great with the raffle items. We'd be happy to put it out there and.
What I've noticed about the raffle items for this event and every event, they all are different. This crowd is going to be different than the Bags for Badges, and then the golf folks, and then the other barbecues that we put out. So the more outdoorsy, what I've noticed, the outdoorsy type items will be popular at this one, as opposed to at another event, Bags for Badges have a nice necklace for. So
I can tell you what we find is are the biggest money makers for the ATO at our event are people have donated like Yeti coolers. Yeah. The Yeti coolers do really well. The cowboy cooker type fire pits do really, really well. Cigars do really well. Alcohol baskets do really well.
Yep.
And then we always have like some hunting trips. Like I know that Prairie's End Hunt Club out around Denison, they always give us a pheasant hunt for two, which is a really nice deal because you can go out there like in the morning. You can hunt pheasants for the morning, and then they feed you lunch, and it's kind of a cool experience. In the past, we've had fishing trips donated. We've had duck hunts donated. So yeah, it's a different kind of raffle, but we try to kind of play to our crowd, and most people that are going to come out because clay shooting actually started it's a way for shotgun hunters to practice during the off seasons. Because it's not just like skeet where they throw them, from two different directions. I mean, you've got clays that run along the ground. You've got clays that come at you straight and go side to side, and so it's kind of practicing to shoot either birds or rabbits or things like that. And the other thing that I always try to tell people, because there are people that seem to be intimidated by coming out and doing this for their first time. Yes, we do give trophies, and yes, we do keep score.
There's a competition.
There is a competition there. But if you've never done it before, this is the group you want to come out and have it be your first time, because everybody will help you out. Either the people from Elm Fork are willing to help you out. Our Dakota from Beretta is an ex-Olympic shooter. He has no problem helping you out. And everybody will give you advice. So one of the big volunteer groups that we've been lucky to connect with is the LISD, the Louisville Independent School District's Clay Shooting Club, their team. So those kids come out and they are the pullers on some of the stations, and they have no problem saying, hey, you're not doing this, or you need to do this. So if you are a first-time person, there is no reason to be intimidated. This is the shoot to come do your first time with.
Yeah, you're a commander over SWAT. You don't have to be a SWAT sniper to come out and participate.
Historically, the SWAT guys have not been very good.
No,
SWAT guys. I think that's a challenge. So you can get your team, get out of here.
So it's actually funny that Randy brings that up. So the first year, I got some, a good friend of mine, Jeremy Borchard. I said, hey, I got a team for you. Why don't you bring 4 of your guys to come out? And they did not do so well.
I was part of that team. It was god awful.
Can't brought them down.
Quickly, they all went up to Beretta and talked to Dakota. All of a sudden, I see they've all got shotguns and they're all practicing. Because the one thing about these guys is if they're not good at something, they're going to figure out how to get good at it.
That same team, maybe the second time we did it, we just took second place in another one.
Yeah,
there you go.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, they came back second place. So they have improved. But that's the deal. It's a fun event, and if we don't have enough shotguns to lend you, like Beretta doesn't, the other good thing about Elm Fork is they have a pro shop, and you can rent a gun from them. So you don't even have to have a shotgun. We can figure out a way. I bring 5 out every year, and I loan out all 5.
We actually borrowed, I think it was $1 million shotgun from Beretta the first time, and it was ridiculous. It had electronic readouts.
They still made it miss.
It did not shoot straight. I'll tell you that much. But no, it was awesome. I mean, you've got an Olympic caliber shooter out there teaching you how to do it, and granted, it probably would have been more than a 15-minute introduction, but there was no pressure. It was a lot of fun. I've told everybody when they call me again and ask me to do more, I'm like, I'm horrible. So if you don't mind having the weakest link on your team, like, sure, I'll go out there and have a blast. But yeah, it's definitely not for just professional shooters out there. This is a really fun event.
It's about fun, having fun, and connectivity and fellowship. It's not about trying to walk away with a medal and bragging rights. You might walk away with some cool items, some raffle items, but
there's usually an award for the worst shooter too. So
we give them like a free.
I missed that somehow. I don't know how I didn't get that one.
Well, the other thing that I like about this event is that there seems to have always been, Randy, you can either back me up or tell me I'm wrong, but it seems to me there's always a really good mix of, for lack of better terms, first responders and civilians that really get together and have a good time. Like when we're sitting there having lunch, everybody's just talking and chit-chatting, and you meet some really great people that you may not have ever run into before. And I don't think I've ever had anybody that has shown up that has not said they had an absolute blast at that event, that it was well run and well taken care of. But it takes an army to do that. But I'm really proud of this event.
Well, one of the good things too, we've had a good mix of first responders. But another way you can donate, you can adopt a cop. You don't have to come out and shoot. If you want to donate money, and we can get officers to come out and shoot in your place, and that's what makes it fun. But there is a good mix of all kinds of different people. From a lot of women come out and shoot, kids come out and shoot. We've been very fortunate.
Yeah, Betsy Orton, she had never shot a shotgun.
I remember
Dickie's Barbecue, and you actually took her she was nervous as hell, and she did. She did all right for the first time.
Like I said, this is not the place. Even if you come out and volunteer and you've never shot before, you come find me, we'll get a golf cart, and we'll just hit a couple stations. I can introduce you to it without you having to do all 100 shots. Yeah. I'm all about opening people up to something new that they can do outside, and I just, it's just great to meet new people. Yeah. When I'm out there.
When networking's huge in any of these events. But so LT, we talked about the clay shoot, and I want to talk a little bit about you, because I've known you since '97 when I got out to Southeast, and we've been friends for a long time. You and Major Bishop are actually going to come on later for an episode. We're too swamped. Yeah,
that'll be a good one.
Dr. Major
Redneck Bishop.
Dr. Major Redneck Bishop. So they're gonna come on for a later episode, but. You tell the listener a little bit about yourself, where you started, and what you're doing now.
So I'm coming up on 33 years on the department. I was hired on in '90, went through the academy. I trained at Central, and right when I got off training and was really having a great time at Central, they started the CBD, the Central Business District. So I got a phone call that night when I got home. Hey, you got 2 choices. You can do a walking beat downtown, or you can go to Southeast. And I said, send me to Southeast, because that's the part. So Channel 1 had all of Grand Avenue and all of that. And my favorite trainer in the world, Rodney Neville's, that's where he liked to go work.
And he's still working, by the way.
And he's still working, yes. I see him all the time, and I laugh at him. But he was the greatest trainer I had.
Sweet guy.
Yes, awesome individual. So I didn't want to give up working Grand Avenue. Little did I know how much more of that was down there.
There's a different side of Grand further down there.
Yeah, so I went to Southeast, and I had a blast. I think I stayed at Southeast until I made sergeant in 99, I think. And then I ended up making lieutenant in So I've been a lieutenant 13 years.
Wow.
But
You were my boss as a lieutenant at the CRT.
that was my first job as a lieutenant.
Yeah, and more stress we added to you.
Yeah. Well, but see, I liked it though because
Yeah.
we when I worked at Southeast, Steve Bishop and a bunch of us, we were kind of the predecessor to the CRT. They had us working 410s. They had us working starting at 8 p.m. so that we could cover that changeover time. And we did a lot of work on the clubs and what would now be considered hot spots. Any place that the crime came up, Lieutenant Turnage and Joe Lasoya would send us into the hot spots, and we did zero tolerance enforcement in those areas. So I enjoyed supervising people like you.
The proactive style policing.
That's what I was raised on.
People like you.
Yeah, people like
Notice
me.
he didn't
Yeah.
point over here.
Well, it's because
We can get into that in his episode. It gets
Yeah,
a little
we'll
bit
talk
worse.
about
We
that.
can get into that now.
He
I got red
might have lost some
flags.
credibility with
Yeah.
people like you.
Yeah.
No, see, Sergeant Wolverton seems to have an opinion that I did not like him. It's just because I walked into a mess that I didn't
Well,
start.
I happened to defecate all over your desk
Yes.
about midnight on your first tour of
He
duty.
just did it right now on this desk.
It was a mess, yeah.
Well,
We'll save that for the...
Yeah.
we're going to
that-
package
that'll
that
be good.
for their
Another
episode.
time. But so I worked Southeast Patrol. I was a trainer at Southeast. When I made sergeant, I got sent to the jail. I worked the jail and communications. Actually, I went to communications first, then I went over
Pissed
to the
somebody
jail. No, that was just the
This
way
is
it
the luck
was.
of the draw.
Being, I was the last person they promoted on the
Yeah.
list. Of course, getting promoted to senior corporal was more difficult for me because I was on the list when the famous North Park incident happened, and had to wait a year because I ate some days off for that one. We'll get into that later.
Yeah,
too.
we'll
We
talk
can
about
package that one
too.
later. But luckily, I was able to get. I was the last. Matter of fact, me and another guy, and I forget who it was, were the last two senior corporals that Ben Click promoted. So I made senior corporal. I stayed at Southeast and was able to train. Like I said, when I made sergeant, I went to communications, went to the jail, begged my way out of there,
I bet.
and got. I was able to go to Northwest on deep nights,
Yeah.
and that's where I had Roger Rudloff, and I had Jeremy
Yep.
and Scoggins. So I've really been blessed my whole career with really having more people that I'd have to pull the reins back than kick in the ass to get them to do anything.
Yeah.
And then once I made lieutenant, my first job was CRT, and then I went to mid-level narcotics where something happened that I guess I pissed somebody off because then I went back to the jail. From the jail, I went back to Northwest on days, which I love because you can send me to patrol anytime you want. You know, I'm not a guy that's afraid of patrol. Patrol is actually the greatest job on the department. And as the story goes, when Chief Hall was here, I was very unhappy with the chain of command and the way things were going, and I had enough time on to retire, so I would come in every morning and I would change the date on my retirement paperwork and drink my coffee and just try to make it through another day. Thank God Chief Garcia came in and kind of changed the way things are going, and I was offered to go over to SWAT. That was a nerve-wracking decision, one, because I was working 6 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. I didn't have to take any work home. I was able to be home a lot. And not having ever been an operator, in the back of my mind, I'm like, how can I go over there and be a leader to these guys that I have not done what they've done to get where they're at? Luckily, I have always, throughout my career, I seem to have had a good rapport with a lot of people. And I knew a lot of the guys that were in SWAT. They had worked with me, and so it's been fun. It's been an eye-opener. I'm learning lots of new things. And one of my trainers, Kim Hammond, he told me, he said, you know when you need to retire, when you think you know it all or you're not learning anything, then it's time to go.
You're learning a lot over there.
Yo, yeah, it's great because I've got a million questions and they'll show me anything I want. It's been a lot of fun because it does kind of keep you occupied all the time.
You got such a great. SWAT. That was SWAT. They have a great reputation nationally, and you do have some great people.
Yeah.
So now that Kent left, you have some. I'm kidding.
Just class to join up when I left, yeah.
I want to talk about front Frontline Realty, real quick, with Wade Dews and Tyler Ramirez. They just recently started a program called Heroes Serving Heroes. They're giving up 1% of their sale price of the home to first responders to help with the closing costs. They're also going to donate 10% of their commission to the ATO on home sales for first responders. Frontline Real Estate team, Wade Dews and Tyler Ramirez, thank you for your service and thank you for your support of the ATO. We can't thank you enough. Well, does anybody else want to get anything off their chest before we wrap this up?
We do have a bunch of really good episodes coming up.
Tell the listener, Kent.
Yeah, let's see. Let me.
We got up next. We have everybody has heard, the downloads. Sorry, Candelaria Twins. Matt Smith just passed y'all for best opening first week. Smith County stepped up and
It was unreal watching those numbers.
Oh, my
I don't know
gosh.
who was listening to him or
Yeah, but
it's crazy.
Matt Smith is. I could listen to him for hours. Thank God I can listen for hours because
He will talk for
he
hours.
will talk
Yeah.
for hours. But he's got I don't know what it is, but not only does he really know his stuff and he's super intelligent when it comes to whatever he's talking about, but he's just got a really easygoing way about him.
And it's East Texas. It's
It's that East. I guess that's what it is. He's just very down to earth and. Yeah, I love listening to his episodes.
his episode. I've gotten so many responses from other police. Man, the tactical community. People have been reaching out from North Carolina. SWAT has reached out. Civilians have reached out about his episode.
a lot of agencies in Texas. Yeah.
A lot of agencies, yeah, and just outside. I even had Cedar Rapids, Iowa, again reached out because they love Dallas SWAT. They were in town. A few weeks ago. It was really fun having them here. Shout out Cedar Rapids. But we got after Matt's broke the record. He is still going strong. Gretchen Rocha is up next.
Joey
Arvizu. There's a lot of people within the department that knows his story. He was getting ready for a boxing match in Guns and Hoses, and an incident happened. And the listener's going to know a lot more about Joey and his wife Kathy. They went through hell for a period there. Then after that we have Jillian Etheridge. She used to be a dispatcher here for DPD. Now she's up in Fairfax County, up in Virginia. I want to get we have so many support units to make a PD run, civilian and sworn, and we wanted to give a voice and perspective from the dispatcher community because in 911 call taker, because there's we couldn't do a lot of what we do without them.
I don't think we could do anything because if you've ever had an officer as a dispatcher, we're usually pretty horrible at it.
Yeah,
and that's an art, man. I mean, it's amazing to watch them go down there and they basically have a command center right in front of them, and they keep up with all that stuff, and they know who's who and where they're at.
It's all by sound, and just in reacting off what you hear, and there's a lot behind that profession, but they have to hear that in their ear, and they hear friends of theirs out there struggling, and they can't do anything. So we got Chris White, U.S. Marshal Chris White, Part 2, Electric Boogaloo is going to come up, and I got to say, great Misty Van Kuren is back for that one, and it's better than his first one. So I think he's in top 3 or 4 of downloads. I mean, everybody loves the U.S. Marshals, but Chris is a great dude. We got Richard Sharam. He's the documentarian photographer that's been following around Dallas homicide.
That was a really good one.
Oh my God,
I'm intrigued on that one. I want to.
Yeah, that's a really interesting one. We actually are working on a special episode we're going to record shortly, and that one we're going to keep under wraps until it airs. And I think the ATO listener and the Dallas Police Department probably are going to be pretty surprised when that comes out and how powerful it's going to be.
We've got Sergeant Criddle with homicide.
Jessica Criddle, she's amazing.
Brandon Dye was a man, and talk about another impactful one. That's going to be huge.
Yeah.
We don't have any bad ones.
No,
I don't think
we
got
clean
a bad
them up enough where they sound good. I'm just kidding. No, I gotta say I have been extremely lucky of getting good guests on this show, and I do not have a shortage of guests. I have people reaching out saying, "Oh, I'd like to be on." I have 11 recorded that haven't aired And, so they're stacked up, and I have another recording, 2 more recordings within the next couple of weeks. And sometimes we do have to take a break because, this isn't our real job. But it's fun.
We do sound like it's our real job, for sure. I mean, we're professionals.
Very professional.
Very professional.
Very.
I think it's with the no-shirt policy.
Yeah, that helps. That helps. The LT, you don't have to take your shirt off now. Put it back on, please.
Do I have to put my pants back on?
No, leave them off.
Well, when you come on your episode, you'll see that there's something about just nipples that put everybody at ease.
Yeah. You can milk anything with nipples.
Especially Joe's.
Yeah. My mini piercings. I think that's a perfect way to wrap this up.
Yeah, well, I do. The wheels are falling off.
Yeah, the wheels are falling off. We're going in the ditch. All right, go to register for the Kevin James Clayshoot at www.kevinjamesclayshoot.com. Come out and join us for a great event. Donate some money to ATO. The money is going to go to a great cause and supporting our first responders. And
win a trip to Brazil.
Win a trip to Brazil.
Buy
and
some fishing tickets.
Catch some peacock bass with
feathers or
beautiful
not.
Feathers. Yeah. And we look forward to seeing you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the support. Good night.